Hey now, hello again and welcome to another, oh no, it's not a podcast, it's a video piece here as we enter the bulk, the best part of portal season 2024 for the Auburn Tigers. My name is Tate. I am publisher / Commodore at auburnsports.com, and we've got stuff shaking at this hour at the Wolto Center. 3 players have showed up. This is the first wave of visits in this portal season. 3 players that Auburn is absolutely pursuing, and there's some other stuff going on a little bit off the board, I guess you could say, that we'll talk about here at the end of this show. But I want to get through these guys who are on campus and kind of break down how they fit in to the things Auburn needs and Auburn wants out of the portal in this particular cycle. I want to start here to the left of your screen. Auburn's top needs. These are based on me and Brian Matthews, who works with me at auburnsports.com, the things that we think Auburn needs. 2 quarterbacks, which I have advocated for months that they had to get 2 out of the portal. 2 guys that can go at it and compete for the starting job. Maybe one that you kind of profile as a 2 and maybe one that you profile as a 1 that gives Deuce Knight some time to get acclimated to college and get ready to really jump in a year. They'll give him a chance to compete, absolutely, but I think it's better to have some guys that are experienced, that can duke it out, and let Deuce kind of become the stud that I think he's going to be. Walker White is also still here, who was a true freshman last year, is going to end up redshirting. I don't really know what to tell you about Walker White. I like him. I think he's an interesting player. He wasn't ready to contribute at the varsity season this year, and so he's going to stay for another year and give it hell. But he's had some things off the field that have captured some of his attention, stuff that is absolutely appropriate for a freshman in college to be worrying about. Obviously, his mother's going through a cancer battle, and you know that's taking an effect on him because it's a very close-knit family. And I respect very much the way Walker came through that, and he will be competing, of course, moving forward for the job here. But Auburn needs 2 quarterbacks out of the portal. Left tackle, which has been a hole for a while. Nose guard or nose tackle. They had Isaiah Rakes this year. He's going to be gone. Jason Jones really ain't it. So they need somebody who can really, really establish that position in Durkin's defense. At Buck, which is kind of a defensive end linebacker hybrid, you need like a new Jalen McLeod type player there. A defensive tackle at 3 technique. Another spot where they could use some help. Wide receiver, they had some guys go in the portal. They had some guys graduate. Obviously, Dre isn't going to be back next year. And so you need depth, and you need some guys that can kind of help carry that room. Cam Coleman can do some of that for sure. He's an outstanding player. But with Camden Brown gone and Caleb Burton gone, you're losing some of the experience out of that spot. And then, of course, tailback. I happen to think Jeremiah Cobb and Damari Alston are a nice 1-2. Some people out there have poo-pooed Jeremiah, and they don't think he's going to be a number 1. I would like to see him compete for that job, and let's see what he can do, because I personally think that he's got it. And you know what Damari is. He's kind of an all-purpose back, can catch the ball, can run the ball, can blitz pick up, and he's extremely popular in the locker room. In fact, when Auburn was trying to establish some communication with some of these people in the portal, guess who they leaned on? Damari Alston. He's the guy. He's just like, the guy. He's like Ferris Bueller. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude. Let's talk about the guys who are here right now visiting at Auburn. Eric Singleton Jr., of course. One of their marquee guys, one of the first people they reached out to. He has an existing relationship with Kenyatta Walker, who's been doing a lot of work with Auburn as part of like a recruiting coordinator type person. Great guy, came from Georgia Tech, had a long-term relationship with Eric Singleton, and his family knows his background and thinks he would fit in here very nicely. Again, 5'11", so he's not really the height you're looking for as an X or a Z, but he can play slot, and he can also play outside, too, because he can challenge for balls, and most importantly, he's extremely fast. Straight line speed, he's absolutely got it. Now, there are some questions about, hey, how good of a technical receiver is he? And also, how jukey is he? He reminds me, he profiles to me kind of like Ontario McCaleb, who, by the way, I always remind everybody, averaged 10 yards per carry for an entire season in 2010. I'd like to see somebody else do that again. Anyway, he could be like Ontario McCaleb a little bit, but as a wideout. 56 catches for 754 and 3 receiving touchdowns for the Yellow Jackets last season. 21 carries for 131 yards and 1 rushing touchdown as kind of an end-around guy. Honorable mention All-SEC, All-ACC, I should say. And I think he's a plug-and-play player. 2-star recruit out of Douglasville, Georgia. I love guys like this who kind of go unheralded. Maybe he's playing at a program that doesn't get all the love like Buford does. And then he kind of works his way up and proves himself on a bigger stage. You love to see it. Eric Singleton, a guy that Auburn would absolutely love to have, and they will be pursuing him for sure. I just wonder, like, is he the super-duper top number 1A caliber like Dre was last year? I personally don't think he is, but I think he can definitely be somebody that helps them contribute here, there, and everywhere. On campus right now is Maalik Murphy. He is the quarterback from Duke University who began his career at Texas with the Longhorns, a 4-star recruit out of California who signed with Texas and redshirted and then competed the next year and wasn't really getting anywhere, playing behind Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers, and so he moved on to Duke and had a solid season against 75.5 grade via PFF. I got that as 9th in the ACC based on, a guy that makes, 110 throws or whatever. So a slightly below average. The scouting report I got on him was that he can't really run at all. And though he has a good arm, his accuracy kind of waxes and wanes a little bit. Now, 26 touchdowns and 12 picks. It's not an awful percentage there, but like the picks, sometimes he just misses throws so badly that they get picked. And I think that really turned some people off who watched him play last year. But at 6'5", 230, he's got that physique you're really looking for. He's probably not going to get a lot of balls batted down. Started 12 games for the Blue Devils this year, 805 snaps. So he was definitely a full-time guy. And again, a kid from California, came halfway across the country to Texas, then all the way across the country to Duke. It's an interesting idea. And, of course, Auburn looking for a couple options at quarterback. I think the kid Ashton Daniels from Stanford is definitely going to be in the picture. I mentioned him earlier. He played at Buford, a very great program in the state of Georgia, and kind of split time at Stanford. But, I like these guys as maybe a second-tier guy, and you bring him in, you say, hey, let's see what he does. Maybe he flourishes here, and if he doesn't, you still have kind of a QB1 situation. I'm on board. Durell Robinson, a tailback from UConn, at least last year. He signed out of high school with Charlotte. I think of it as UNC Charlotte, but whatever. 3-star recruit in the 23 class, and I think what's intriguing about Durell Robinson is that he played high school ball at St. Francis in Baltimore, where Auburn just signed 3 players out of high school to come into this next recruiting class. An outstanding cornerback in Blake Woodby, like a slot guy, and also a defensive tackle that they flipped from Tennessee. So some important, potentially impactful guys coming in from St. Francis, and Durell knows those guys, is familiar with those guys. And it's interesting that Auburn's kind of creating this little bit of a Baltimore pipeline. 6'1", 200, so he's definitely got a little bit of size to him. Started 3 games in 24, so they were kind of flip-flopping roles at UConn. They ran the football a bunch. And he was pretty dang effective, to be honest with you. 79.3 grade via PFF. I think he was their second-rated player on the entire team last year at UConn. Now, UConn's not exactly a haven for great football players, but that's not how the portal works. You're looking for individuals that can thrive in your system, and you can basically outbid where they're at. Obviously, Auburn can offer him a lot more money than UConn. Now, the thing is, good tailback, he can catch the ball a little bit. He can run the ball a little bit. A tough guy who can run inside and give you that kind of physical bent. So I like him. It's just I wonder how seriously they need to accentuate tailback right now, given all the other issues they've got at the other positions, specifically quarterback, left tackle, or right tackle, just offensive line. They've really got to accentuate there and push really hard to get guys committed soon. So those are the 3 guys on campus right now. You have other guys that will be here in short order, including Clevmer Lubin, who's a defensive end from Coastal Carolina, actually from the state of New York. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of New York a couple years ago. They really like him. Josh Thompson, not Stump, but another Josh Thompson from Northwestern is planning to be here in short order. He's played guard and tackle in his career. He played guard last season. I'm guessing Auburn wants to try him at tackle, but we'll just kind of see how that goes. And Horatio Fields from Wake Forest, wide receiver. And again, Auburn trying to bump up its situation. Definitely wants some experience at wide receiver, because Freeze anticipates getting what he needs out of the portal at quarterback and he's got to have someone who can lead that group into next season. And because, listen, let's be honest, Auburn needs to win football games next season. This BS where you're having another losing season, it's getting old. You know that. I know that. The American people know that. And best of all, Hugh Freeze knows that. So he's trying to go in the next season with a really good situation at quarterback, and he wants to make sure he's got the experience at wide out too. And I think he's already got it at tailback. He'd just like to add one more. Anyway, offensive line, the biggest thing there, and the quarterback is for sure. That's what's going on at this hour, this day. In the portal, man, things change so quickly. It's about 5:45 on Wednesday when I tape this. So we will see how it goes. I'm going to continue doing these updates, once a day and try to get everybody filled in on what's going on and what I think about it. But among these guys, I think Singleton's the guy that you probably want the most. Durell Robinson is a solid one. And, Maalik Murphy, we'll see. It just depends on where they think he fits and if they think that his complete lack of running ability is a hindrance. I feel like Freeze wants guys who can give you the dual threat element. And, Peyton Thorne, for all of his faults, he could run the football. In fact, you could maybe argue that running the football was his best talent because he had so many scrambles that worked out well, and he was a good runner with the football. His passing was kind of hit or miss, but you know how it goes. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for watching this little update for Portal Season 2024. Again, I'm Jay Tate. I'm the publisher at auburnsports.com, part of the Rivals Network. Check us out at auburnsports.com. Until next time, see you guys. Peace.